Hi, my name is Hope, and this is my devotion for Youth Sunday. So this devotion is on Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance of what we do not see. Another version I found was now faith means putting our full confidence in the things we hope for. It means being certain of things we cannot see. It was this kind of faith that won their reputation for the saints of old, and it is after all only by faith that our minds accept as fact the whole scheme of time and space was created by God's command, that the world which we see has come into being through principles which are invisible. I feel like this verse is pretty self-explanatory, but my interpretation of it is I believe that this Bible verse is saying that faith is something that you're fully confident in, and your faith is your belief in God, and you're confident that God will make a way. It means that you are putting your faith in full confidence in what we believe and the things we hope for, such as promises of God, eternal life, and redemption. We have firm belief that God will make them happen. Your faith gives you the certainty that what God has promised will happen, even if it's still in the future. And the last part, the assurance of what we do not see, means that God's work is sometimes invisible or unseen, but you can have assurance that it is real because of your faith and your belief that it will happen. We may not see it in the physical senses, but you know it is real. Another easier version is faith means trusting that things God has promised are real and will happen even if we can't see them yet. If you read the whole chapters Hebrews 11 from verses 3 to 40, you can see examples in the Bible in which Hebrews 11:1 is applied or given an example of. Some of these are, by faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. And by faith, Abel still speaks even though he is dead, which is verse 4. And then verse 7, by faith, Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear built an ark to save his family. By his faith, he condemned the world and became the heir of the righteousness that is in keeping with faith. And by faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. By faith, he made his home in the promised land like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise, from verses 8 and 9. Verse 3 says that by faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made of what was visible. Throughout the Bible, we see these people give examples of how we should keep our faith with confidence that God will make a way. Verses 11 and 12 says, and by faith even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was able to bear children because she considered him faithful who had made the promise. And so from this one man, he as good as dead, became descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as countless as the sand on the seashore. And even by faith, Abraham sacrificed his son because he trusted God in verses 17 and 18. By faith, Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice. He who had embraced the promises was about to sacrifice his one and only son, even though God has said to him, it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. This entire chapter of Hebrews 11 gives examples of people in the Old Testament who lived by faith, trusting God in ways that shaped their lives and history. Hebrews 11:1 isn't just theological, it's very practical, especially when life feels uncertain. Although these are just examples from the Bible, some ways that this applies to daily life is when you're waiting on God. Maybe you prayed for something, but you haven't seen the results yet. Faith means trusting God's timing even when you don't see it. You might not see it now, but you can believe that He's working. Another way is when you face fear or doubt, and life is full of uncertainties, but faith says, even if I don't understand this, I believe God is in control. Another way is when you make big decisions. Sometimes God leads us to take steps that doesn't make sense, but faith is stepping out based on God's character, not just what you can calculate or see. Another example is when you look beyond this life. Faith is believing that this life isn't all there is, and that eternal life and heaven and God's justice are real. That gives hope even in suffering or loss. Faith isn't blind. It's based on who God is and what He's promised. It means that you put your full confidence in God even when you can't see the future. Even when you can't see the full picture, we choose to trust that God sees it and works it out.